Have you ever stopped to think about what's really happening inside your body when you decide to go for a run or lift some weights? I mean, yeah, you sweat, you get tired, but there's a whole hidden story playing out inside your heart and your blood vessels. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that story.
So get this. The moment you even decide you're going to exercise, before you've even stretched or put on your shoes, your body is already gearing up. It's kind of like it knows what's coming and it's already one step ahead of you.
So let's start right there, at that starting line. Because to really get what's happening during the workout, you first have to understand the baseline. Where your body is just hanging out, at rest.
First up, let's talk heart rate. Simple enough, right? It's just how many times your heart beats per minute. For most of us, when we're just chilling, that's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of 60 to 100 beats per minute. That's our quiet, steady rhythm.
And then there's blood pressure. This is basically the force of your blood pushing out against your artery walls. You've got the top number, systolic, which is the pressure when your heart is actively pumping, and then the bottom number, diastolic, which is the pressure when your heart is relaxing between beats.
And of course, here's the number everyone knows, 120/80. It's kind of the textbook example of a healthy, normal blood pressure at rest. So, okay, we've got our starting stats, but the first move your body makes is probably not what you'd think.
In fact, the first change doesn't happen in your legs or your lungs or even your heart. It actually happens right up here, in your brain. Just the thought of exercising is enough to get the ball rolling. It's wild.
This whole thing has a name. It's called the anticipatory response. Your brain sends out a little signal, adrenaline starts to flow, and your heart rate and that top blood pressure number get a little bump. Your body's basically revving the engine before you've even put the car in gear.
All right, the pre-show is over. Let's get to the main event. This is what happens when you actually start moving, when your body has to rise to the occasion and really show what it's made of.
When you boil it all down, the mission is super simple. Your muscles are working hard and they are screaming for more fuel, specifically more oxygen. So your heart and your blood vessels, they're like the body's personal delivery service, and they have to kick it into high gear to meet that demand.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. The way your body responds isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. It depends completely on what kind of exercise you're doing. Trust me, there is a massive difference between going for a jog and trying to hold a plank.
So we can pretty much split exercise into two big buckets. On one side, you've got your dynamic or aerobic stuff. Think running, swimming, biking, anything with continuous rhythmic movement. And on the other side, you've got static or isometric exercise. This is where you're tensing a muscle and holding it, like in a wall sit or a plank.
And wow, this table just lays it all out there. Check it out. With dynamic exercise, your heart rate goes up, your top BP number goes up, but look at the diastolic pressure. It stays the same or even drops a little. Now look at the static column. Holding that plank, both blood pressure numbers go through the roof. So what on earth is going on here?
Well, for dynamic exercise, the secret sauce is something called vasodilation. It's a fancy word, but it just means your blood vessels in your working muscles actually get wider. It's like opening up more lanes on the highway to let more traffic, or in this case, more blood, flow through easily. That's what keeps that bottom BP number down.
But static exercise, it's the complete opposite. When you're holding a plank, all those tensed up muscles are literally squeezing the blood vessels inside them shut. It's like you're standing on a garden hose. This creates a massive traffic jam, and your heart has to pump incredibly hard to try and force blood through, which is why both pressure numbers just skyrocket.
Okay, you've finished the workout. You can finally breathe, but your body's job isn't quite over. Now it has to manage the cool down, a careful journey all the way back to its resting state. And there's a pretty clear timeline here. The second you stop, your heart rate starts to drop. The sharpest decline happens in those first couple of minutes, when your rest and digest system takes back control. Your blood pressure, on the other hand, takes its sweet time, gradually making its way back to your normal baseline.
And this recovery phase is telling us something incredibly important. How fast your heart rate comes back down to normal is one of the best signs of how fit your heart is. The quicker it drops, the healthier your cardiovascular system is. It's that simple.
Here's another cool thing you might notice. Sometimes, after a workout, your blood pressure can actually dip below your normal resting level for a little while. This is totally normal. It's called post-exercise hypotension. It's just because those widened blood vessels we talked about take a little while to shrink back down.
Okay, so we've been on this whole journey, from just thinking about a workout all the way through recovery.
But let's zoom out. Why does tracking all this stuff actually matter? What's the big picture?
Well, for doctors and physical therapists, this information is absolutely vital. It helps them see how much physical stress a person can handle. It's a key tool for helping people recover from heart and lung issues. And maybe most importantly, it helps them spot dangerous responses to stress that you'd never see if someone was just sitting still.
So really, the big takeaway here is this. Every little change in your heart rate, every shift in your blood pressure, it's a language. It's your body communicating with you, telling you a story about its own health and its own fitness.
And that kind of leaves us with one final question to think about. With every single heartbeat, your body is telling you its story. The only question is, are you listening?